welcome to the Your Natural Healer channel. My name is Tammy, for those of you who don't know me, and welcome to this episode of Tuesday's Enlightenment, in which we're going to go ahead and wrap up the series of the Dr. Emoto's rice experiment. Now, if you haven't watched any of the previous weeks, I would at least go back and watch the intro and maybe watch one at either week 1, 2, 3, or 4 to kind of see what happened. And here in a minute, I'm going to show you the final result. But before we get to all that, got to do the housekeeping. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. The algorithm is real, guys. That's why I have to plug it in all my videos. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. And if you consider subscribing, again, thank you. Turn off the notifications, though. This way your phone doesn't blow up every time I release a video. And do that for any YouTuber, because again, that algorithm is real and it really does help support us. The algorithm is made up of, it's going to be 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What happens at that point, I don't know, because I'm not there and they don't tell you. So I'm trying, but it's more than just that. I really enjoy sharing my knowledge of spirituality with you guys. So the more you support me, the more it motivates me to get that content put out and in a timely manner. All right, so, oh, and here's Miss Parker. Hello. You gonna say hi? No, I don't think she's going to say hi. She might knock the tripod, so she does. I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know Miss Parker, she is my spiritual German Shepherd dog. Whoops, there she goes. I told you she'd knock the camera. She's got to be right here with me because she always thinks I'm going to play the singing bowls or that I'm going to do Reiki, and she loves both. Okay, she moved. Let's adjust this. Okay. She just wants my attention because I just got home from work like maybe 30 minutes ago. So anyway, you don't want to hear about all that. So basically, let me just recap. So Dr. Emoto, when I was getting my sound therapy certification, we did a lecture on Dr. Emoto's research about how words, intention of words, the vibration of words affect water. So it was so interesting that I went out and bought his book. And hold on one second, I'm going to go grab it. Sorry, I have a couple books by him, but this is the one. And it's called The Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Emoto. And I'm sorry if this is backwards. I thought I had fixed this. So on my screen, it's backwards. So I don't know. So anyway, this is an outstanding book. It's not very thick for those of you who don't like to read. It's like, if you don't include the about the author, 157 pages long, but there's a lot of sections with pictures, okay? And I don't want to show you and give it away. It is an easy read, and oh my gosh, I'm on my 5th time reading this. He basically went around the world and he took samples of water and he would talk to the water. And he would say different words, and then they would freeze the water to a certain temperature till it crystallized. Then they would take the microscopic pictures of the ice crystals. And it's just amazing, the effect on these ice crystals. Just unreal. And like I said, there's lots of pictures. So it's like you'll go through and for me, the big one was I love heavy metal music. And when I seen what water exposed to nothing but heavy metal music looked like, what the crystal looked like, let's say I don't listen to heavy metal quite as much as I used to. Hardly at all, actually. So anyway, so he did that with all these waters. So that's all what this book is about. So his thing is that, you know, again, the words we say have... and the words, when we speak them, have a certain vibration and our intentions, but also the tone of our voice. So he did that experiment and he says it affects water. Well, 70% of our bodies are made up of water. So it's like if you're always going around saying negative things, listening to negative music, or you're surrounded by people who are negative, it's going to affect your vibe. So that old saying, sticks and stones break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And we say, oh, no, words hurt. There's something to that, seriously. So anyway, Dr. Emoto also did this rice experiment, which a lot of schools apparently replicate, and mine never did. And I went and I researched on YouTube. There's a lot of people that have done it, with their kids or whatever. And so I was like, okay, looks legit, but I want to try it out. Plus, I always loved science in school anyway. So what I did, I took 3 mason jars, and you can kind of see them behind me. They're still on the shelf. I took 3 mason jars and filled them up with equal amounts of rice. Cooked rice. Then you fill them with equal amounts of water, put the lids on, and you write love on one, hate on another, and nothing on the third one. So then what you do, and I did this every day diligently, and it's recorded on, if you go and watch weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, every day I took a couple minutes out, and the love jar, I spoke kind and loving to it and said the nicest things I could think of. And the hate jar, I yelled at it, I said awful things to it, and then the other jar I ignored. Now, the one thing that I did notice over the course of the 30 days is I didn't see a whole lot of grossness, for lack of a better term. Most of the videos that I saw on YouTube, as well as Dr. Emoto's work, had both at least the hate jar and the ignored jar were moldy and black, and that didn't happen. And I think part of the reason why, and again, this just proves everything, is that I had them in this room, my meditation room. Now, my meditation room, the rule is with my husband, I told him, you can't come in here if you're angry or if you're super negative, unless you're going to meditate to realign yourself. Sorry about that. My room is gridded in every corner with celestite, which I use for communicating with higher realms. I play my singing bowls in here. I do Reiki in here on me, myself, Ed. I do distance Reiki on my clients. This is where I do my readings. This is where I meditate twice a day. All of my crystals, and I have a lot of crystals. What you see on the shelf is not, I have a shelf over there, shelf there, on my desk. Anyway, all these crystals. So all 3 jars were exposed to that. And I think that negated some of the negativity that the hate jar received. And I think it negated some of the neglect that the other jar, the ignore jar, received. So at the end of the 30 days, there was a little bit of difference, but nothing too crazy. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to give it 1 more week, which I'll show you the end result. So with the 1 more week, I will admit to the hate jar, I did cuss it out. I used the F-bomb, but I didn't want to put that on my YouTube channel. So I did get kind of nasty with the hate. In the next video, you're going to see the results as of yesterday, okay? So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to let you take a look at that. It's only like a minute or 2. You're not going to see me sitting there yelling all week. I'm just going to show you the results of the 3 jars as of yesterday. All right, be right back. Enjoy. All right, everybody. Hello. And today is actually day 37. Now, I didn't record me yelling at the rice for the last 7 days because this is going to be our reflection of the experiment. So let's go ahead and get the love jar. And as you see, look at the beautiful water still. Just absolutely beautiful. Just amazing that there's still so much water in that. And again, that is love. And we're getting hate. Oh, look what we have here. We actually have mold. Not a ton of it, but I'm thinking that there must be more mold, maybe, down inside. So we're going to leave that there, but look at the water level if we compare them. They're almost the same. The Love has a little more, but the Love, as I said, is not molded. And I mean, that looks like brown spots, but not through the camera. It looks more like air. And then our jar with nothing. Surprisingly, that has more, looks like more water than the Hate. And again, it's very similar to the Love jar. So there you have it. My vote would be the Hate jar is the worst because it's molded. And so we have a little bit of discoloration in. I wonder what the bottom looks like. A little bit of mold. It's hard to look at these upside down. Okay, so all of them have a little bit of spots on the bottom. But I mean, look how look at the Love jar, how much the water moves around. And here's, this one has a little, but not as much. And that's got quite a bit, but definitely more water in the Love jar. I would say it's not necessarily more water, but the level is higher. So I would say that the water was more absorbed by the jar we ignored. And then the one that we hated on is moldy. So give me a moment and I'm going to switch cameras and we'll have a discussion. All right. Be right back. So what did you think? Now, again, mine weren't as gnarly as some of the other people's. And I'm telling you, I attribute that to this room. When I listen to music in here, if I'm using meditation music, it is not 440 hertz, which is what is played on the normal radio, which is bad for you. I'll use 174 if I'm having physical pain, 526, and I'm putting a pin in that. I will, in another Tuesday's Enlightenment, go over some of the hertz and the benefits. So we will get to that. If you've already, at the time you're watching this, if I've already done that, okay. But at the time of recording, I haven't done a Tuesday's Enlightenment on that yet. So the music in here, my bowls are pure pitch, perfect pitch, and they're 432, which is universal sound. And that's the same, my Tibetan bowls as well. So this room does not get any nasty 440 hertz in this room, okay? So that tells me that between the Reiki, the crystals, the music, that it affected these, all three jars. Because the Hate jar, as you've seen, there were little pieces of mold floating around. And the Ignored jar, there was no mold, but you see that it was more filled up, that there was less water, but the rice absorbed the water and puffed up. So I think that that would probably start, once all the water was absorbed, start molding a little more. I don't know, even though the Hate jar still has water in it. And then the Love jar, you know, for the most part looks decent. So anyway, what's all this prove? Well, first of all of this in here, it works, guys. If you doubt this stuff, for people who, oh, it's woo-woo, guys, energy healing works. Vibration works. Crystals are vibration, it's energy, it all works. Okay, so with what we've seen with the jars, let's talk about it. All right, so the Love jar got lots of attention and all of that. Looked pretty decent, you know, nothing crazy. So what we would expect. If you are constantly listening to good music, you know, not heavy metal, unfortunately, not this horrible rap that talks about, you know, hoes and drugs and alcohol. And even this pop music, and trust me, I am not one that sits there and says, well, you should listen to what you want. You know, like I said, I loved everything but country. I'm not a big country music person. Some stuff I can, okay too, but you know, heavy metal, 80s music is my jam. 90s R&B, you know, kind of the early like Belle Biv DeVoe, and I'm dating myself here. That stuff. I could deal with some of the pop. I do I like Katy Perry's music. You know, I can admit there's some good stuff out there, but after what I have learned, especially after becoming taking my sound healing course, it really opened my eyes up to things. And after I read this book, it opened my eyes big time. That's why I said every time that I find my words are not optimal, I read this book. And it just is a, Tammy, get your crap together, okay? So, again, if we are listening to good music, if we are listening, and good music, again, words, not the 440 hertz. So if we're listening to good music, we're getting energy healing, Reiki, our chakras are being aligned, okay? Our auras are being cleansed, all right? You're meditating, you're centering yourself. When you talk and somebody asks you, hey, how are you? Even if you got a busy day ahead of you, you go, oh, I'm doing okay. I got a lot going on today, but everything is going to be perfect and it's a wonderful day. That's a lot different than going, oh my God, today's going to be so busy and I just got so much to do. And you just hear the difference. So when you start to be mindful of your words, you're going to be like that love jar of rice. Your vibration is going to rise. And it's going to make you emotionally better, spiritually better, and physically better. Seriously. And for those of you, you know, I don't know if y'all have ever tried Reiki. Reiki is awesome. Now, granted, sometimes you may need, like, if you know, you got physical symptoms or something going on, you may need more than a couple sessions, or you may need a constant tune-up, and things of that nature. So let's talk about the hate jar. That jar we just saw was molded, okay? So if you are constantly, I mean, I used to work with a lady years ago who every time she opened her mouth, she never had a nice word to say about anybody, but she was always like, if somebody, oh, Karen's sick today. Oh, I'm gonna get a cold. I need to start taking antibiotics. And, oh, somebody sneezed, you know, oh, I'm gonna have bad. She was constantly negative, and she really was constantly sick. All kinds of crazy stuff. And when you get in that cycle, you're going to bring yourself down, because remember, we're 70% water. So if that water, if our words are having that alchemical effect on the water, on that water, it's having an effect on us as well. So why would you want to be going around grumpy all the time and complaining? You know? I mean, there's nothing wrong if somebody says, hey, how's your day? Well, it's gone pretty good, but you know, I'm having a little difficulty with X, Y, and Z, but everything will work out. And you know, there is a way to change that. And like I said, we're human, and I'm not saying that you can't ever be negative, you can't be mad, you can't be sad. We're humans, okay? I say this a lot. We are souls having a human experience. Part of the human experience is emotion, love, hate, sadness, jealousy, anger, just all of it, greed, all of it. We are supposed to experience it. It's okay. But if you get caught in that vicious cycle where you are constantly feeding that vibration, your body picks up on it. And then we wonder why there's so much cancer in the world. We wonder why everybody's got some kind of labeled disease, and first thing they want to do is throw a pill at us. And why? because Big Pharma makes their money that way. They don't want us to heal naturally, because if you heal naturally, their pockets aren't fat. It is what it is. And the same thing, look at the ignored jar. That jar didn't receive any words, good or bad. And it used everything it had to basically protect itself. So that makes me think of like people who like are very reclusive. And it's not all people, and I'm not a scientist and I don't know all the statistics and all this, that, and the other. But you get a lot of people that then turn to various addictions. And they use those addictions to absorb that void in their life. And that's almost kind of it is what that ignored jar of rice did. It didn't mold. It didn't stay the same. It absorbed the water, protected itself, and, pumped itself up because it didn't have somebody pumping it up. So even if you don't say anything, which, that's not feasible, think about that. I mean, it didn't turn out like the moldy mess I expected, but like I said, I really think if I had done it in a different room in my home, I think that it would have been, even though my whole house is gridded as well. And I do have crystals in every room. And I do sage my house every month. And, well, this room gets saged every week. Oh, that was another thing it was exposed to. Sage at least once a week. So I guess the whole point in wrapping this up is, guys, read this book. It is life-changing. But watch your words. If you're not into quantum physics, I don't expect you to become a quantum physicist. Sorry. But quantum physics and vibration, it's true. And I'm telling you, you know what? I know when I am speaking right, I feel better. I have more energy. Not to go into things, I have spinal issues. I don't have issues with that when I'm speaking really good words, but when I start falling into that negativity, and that's what I'm around, and you can pick it up from other people, but that's why, you utilize things like black tourmaline to protect yourself from other people's drama. But we're just talking about words. So with all of this final exclamation point on this, your words matter to you. Do you want to be low vibration or do you want to be high vibration? We are 70% water, my friends. Average. If you're into spirituality and you're watching this, you're trying to raise your vibration. You're trying to be centered. Watch your words. Really be present when you speak. Think before you speak. And trust me, try it for one day. One day, really think and go without saying anything negative and see how you physically feel. Definitely in my top, I love reading. It's hard to choose. I'll say top 5. But this book is life-changing. Try the rice experiment for yourself. If you've ever done it, leave a comment. Or if you do it, come back or shoot me an email, Tammy@yournaturalhealer.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts or share it with everybody. So with that being said, my friends, go live your best life. Be kind to yourself. Speak well to yourself. Watch your words. Go live your best life, but do it the natural way. Namaste.